7 weeks done already. It's Wednesday, the 9th, and then IT Essentials. So I had the students, you guys wrote some topics to date, key things we've been working on, networks, and what you might have questions on. Also, what was currently, what were the hardest topics, what in terms of learning was the most difficult, and what I could do to make some changes. Now you could do this at any time. Drop me an email, set up a time, stop by my office, and so forth. We did some work on applying networks, configuration, did a little bit of lab work with wireless routers. This will wait until Monday. We didn't get to that. At the end of class, we watched the video on a teacher's perspective, the learning process, and I was able to give, there was a couple of places where the students can get a link to metacognition. Again, this is in the NIAC Canvas materials. Let's keep moving. Talked about the difference between an RJ11 and an RJ45. RJ11, the old phones, analog. Analog is a wave. If we change the amplitude in the wave, that gives us amplitude modulation. If we change how often the wave moves, that's frequency modulation. And most of us maybe still have a radio, maybe in your car, maybe. But anyway, that's AM and FM radio. So we need to take this analog signal and make it a digital signal, like this. So what we used to do that was a modulator demodulator. So when it came from the computer and we had to send it across the phone line, we would modulate it, and then when it got on the other end, had to change it back to digital, would demodulate it, and of course these are the modulations. Just a listing of a term. Syslog server keeps track of what's going on. Important for a lot of reasons. Make sure the date is right in your computer so that if you can go back and see exactly if something went wrong, or if you had a breach, or if you had a hack on your system, or somebody deleted some files they shouldn't have, and etc., etc. Keep track of who did what when. Next thing here, we talked about all of these Wi-Fi. We talked a little more about what Wi-Fi represents. It used to be a standards organization, and now the term's used to represent wireless communications here in a local area network. So often it'll be called wireless local area network. We have two frequencies we usually use. This is open frequency, 2.4 gigahertz. And then we looked this one up, and we could see there that in this range of frequencies, we can divide it up into 3 sections that don't cross over, and that would be channels 1, 2, and 3. We're going to talk about that here in a second. The students did a little bit of work, research on some wireless routers, and one student came up with theirs was 802.11b, G, and D. More or less, whatever device, if you had a laptop and you were connecting to that device, if your laptop was G, then it would connect as G. If you went way back to B, that's a long time ago, it would connect as B. Or if it was a newer laptop, or maybe your phone, and that would connect as N. So we talked about having the device, and they were working on it, and I said, what if we wanted to add a device? You could put this one on this channel, and these here are representing the antenna range, so to speak. So then if we added another one, we could put that in channel 6, so this device would cover this range, let's just arbitrarily say. And then we could have a device that's on channel 11. So they're all in that same frequency, 2.4, but different parts of that frequency. So channel 11, channel 6, channel 1. And then if we added a channel over here, that one, so to speak, that one could be 1 again. And see, and 1's not crossing over. So you could develop a whole mesh to cover an area with your Wi-Fi. Up here again, digital to analog, modulate, demodulate. That's where the word modem comes from. Now we use the term modem more generically because we're not using analog lines anymore because everything is digital. We talked about protocol, network time protocol. Again, that's another thing we mentioned earlier. A syslog server, you can make sure your computers have the right time. And then we did some lab work. We did some research, Wi-Fi setup with wireless routers. Little review. 48 bits for the MAC address, IP4 32 bits, IP6 128 bits. Talked about DHCP. We want to get a network configuration, the IP and the mask, or you'll hear us use a prefix. Where to go, default gateway, and if you want to use a URL, you need DNS to convert the domain name to an IP. Okay. A little bit about wireless here. We have devices, wireless router, internally, and you have your private network, you have your internet to connect out to some device from some provider. Some provider will have a way for you to connect your device, and what I was getting at here, this provider then, your ISP, may use DHCP to give you an address, public address, so you could go to the internet. Data terminal equipment, data communications equipment. And that's it for today.